At Halim Perdana Kusuma International Airport in Jakarta, Indonesia, a demonstration flight is almost ready for departure. 36 invited guests are getting the Gold Star treatment on board a brand new Russian aircraft. The plane is a Sukhoi Superjet 100.
Well, Sukhoi is an aircraft manufacturer that's known for making military aircraft. Russia hadn't really dove into commercial airliners, and this was their first, so it's kind of a big deal for them.
This afternoon's flight is part of a 6-country tour introducing the new plane to the Asian market. The passengers are a mix of potential buyers from major airlines and journalists who can create some buzz.
Russia has kind of a poor reputation for safety, so a lot is at stake. This is the beginning of their reputation.
Flaps 15.
Flaps 15, check.
Captain Alexander Yablontsev is Sukhoi's chief test pilot.
Transponder.
Set.
He has more hours in the Superjet than any other pilot.
Before takeoff, the checklist complete.
First Officer Alexander Kochetkov is also a seasoned test pilot. In the cabin, an engineer and navigator monitor the plane's performance.
Sukhoi 36801, cleared for takeoff.
Here we go.
The plan is to make a quick 30-minute flight south to the rural area of Bogor, then return back to the airport.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sukhoi welcomes you on board of the Superjet 100.
That's a very smooth ascent.
A potential customer from a major Indonesian airline is a guest in the cockpit today.
In a demonstration flight, they're not operating under the same exact rules as an airline flight. It's not abnormal at all to invite one of the folks up and just give them that special experience.
They fly the first portion of the loop at an altitude of 10,000 feet, away from the busy commercial routes.
Champagne, sir?
Midway through the flight, Yablontsev changes course.
Let's get down to 6,000 so we can start to turn back.
Jakarta Control, Sukhoi 36801, requesting descent
To 6,000. Sukhoi 36801, cleared to 6,000 feet.
Everything is exactly where it needs to be. Very pilot-friendly.
Impressive flight deck. I could certainly get used to this.
All right then, let's do the full orbit before we return.
The captain decides to prolong the flight by flying an extra 360-degree orbit, or loop, before heading back to Jakarta.
Jakarta Control, Sukhoi 36801, requesting right orbit at 6,000.
It was just them having a little bit of fun.
Sukhoi 36801, right orbit approved.
To turn the plane, Yablontsev will need to input a series of compass headings into the autopilot at different times. The maneuver is so smooth, passengers hardly feel it in the cabin.
Would you care for some Russian caviar?
Do you want to do another orbit, or shall we begin the approach?
Let's start the approach.
As the first officer checks his navigation chart, an automated warning begins to sound.
Why is that going off?
Maybe the database.
Moments later, at the control center, the Sukhoi Superjet vanishes from radar.
Where'd you go? Sukhoi 36801, please come in.
4 calls later, there's still no reply. The plane should have landed by now.
Sukhoi 36801 is off radar.
Authorities declare an emergency. The fear is that the plane went down in the jagged peaks of Indonesia's Mount Salak, south of Bogor. 18 hours after the plane vanished, a helicopter pilot spots aircraft debris spilling thousands of feet down a cliff face. It's one of the most challenging locations Indonesian crash investigators have ever faced.
The crash site.